Welcome back, YouTubers, to our first TNA pay-per-view review with me, Mr. Parkin, and the guy sitting next to me. He is the best damn guy I know here in Peterborough. It's NJ.
What's up?
What's up, NJ? British Fist.
Ka-ching.
First damn TNA pay-per-view. Make sure you guys subscribe up above, like this video, and put your comments on the show down below.
And you can contact us in the link in the description box below.
Of course, NJ. So, oh god, Slammiversary pay-per-view. We had a couple of technical hitches at the start, but we managed to get a stream going.
That was good, yeah.
Should we see if TNA delivered on this one?
Yeah, let's.
So the opener, it was a little bit unexpected really, wasn't it? I didn't expect the tag team match to be the opener, but for the opener we got Beer Guns, which consists of James Storm and Alex Shelley, versus the British Invasion, of course, good old Magnus and Doug Williams, for the TNA Tag Team Championships. I'm just surprised this was the opener. I thought it was a great fast-paced match to start the show, but I thought they'd make another match like the X Division match the opener.
It was a very entertaining match. It was a good start. I think there was nothing too bad about this match. You had one of them on commentary with Beers,
Robert Roode on commentary, yeah.
which was good, and then you had the good in-ring action with the others.
And another great thing, we had some very good tag team action, didn't we? You know, the double team moves is something that TNA I think do quite well. The good old, the old-fashioned tag team style wrestling, in my opinion. And the Beer Guns win.
There's what the thing that I liked quite about this match is that the one did the mist thing.
James Storm.
You did the beer thing onto Alex Shelley,
yeah.
And then he just. I thought that was going to be a screw up of the match just to make the other team win.
Yeah.
But luckily, Beer Guns win.
I'm so glad Beer Guns win. If they're going to make Robert Roode a singles wrestler, at least make them lose to a team that are credible and that they've been built up. Because let's face it, British Invasion were not built up for this. When was the last time we saw them on TV? It was probably Lockdown, the pay-per-view which you watched about a week back, which you were very impressed by.
It was a very good pay-per-view.
Yeah. What I liked about this match was you had James Storm, you had the sort of technical wrestling of James Storm, you had the high-flying action of Alex Shelley. Kind of mixed together, it kind of made for a good match.
I would give this a thumbs up because I was entertained all the way through. There's little moves here and there that I was quite impressed with. So overall, it's a good match.
Yep, good opener for British Fist. Shall we move on to the next match?
Yeah, let's.
The next match we had was Scott Steiner versus the 7-foot monster, Matt Morgan. To me, this match was the right place in the card. It was just after we had a fast-paced match. If you were going to have a slow, big guy crowd psychology match, this was the kind of time to have it when the crowd were a bit pumped after the first match.
I think seeing Matt Morgan come out and try to dominate, because he did do a good job, but at the same time, you have Scott Steiner, who was seeming to counter some of Matt Morgan's moves, and so he's strengthened as well. But I was watching it more for Matt Morgan. Yeah,
to be honest, this is the first time we've seen him properly on TV for 2 weeks, which kind of took something away from the match. They didn't really get featured on Impact Wrestling last week. So that means the build wasn't that great for the match. It was always going to be a slow match, but what we really wanted to see was, both them work a match, tell a story, Matt Morgan to be put over like he did, and the most important thing, get a bit of crowd psychology in there, get Matt Morgan over with the crowd.
There's numerous times in that match where I thought Scott Steiner could have had it maybe, but I'm glad the right one won. Yeah,
and there was a lot of power moves in this match as well. You had Steiner with his good old belly to belly, and then Steiner did a victory roll. I've never seen Steiner do a victory roll before. I've seen him do a Frankensteiner, but I've never seen him do a damn victory roll.
Well, you say that about Scott Steiner. I just think throughout the match you had Matt Morgan showing off his moves, showing off his strength, and he finished with an axe kick. Yeah,
the axe kick was good. For a 7-foot guy, an axe kick is a perfect move. Let's just hope they actually get this guy into the main event at some point, because he can play a really good guy. He could be a main player in the main event. He definitely looked it, just for his size and his sheer dominance.
That's true, yeah.
Anyway, should we move on to the next match, NJ?
Yeah, let's.
So the next match we had was a triple threat TNA X Division Championship match between Abyss, Kazarian and Brian Kendrick, a match which was made in a back alley on Impact Wrestling last week. What were your initial thoughts on this match, NJ, going into the start of it?
I looked at the fact that Abyss is a big guy, and I was thinking he seems to have a bit of the upper hand because of his strength is building that. But I was hoping for more maybe a Kazarian to win. I really didn't see Brian Kendrick doing any good. But the teamwork between Brian Kendrick and Kazarian throughout the match was good because they're taking out the threat first before they start on each other.
The problem with me about this match is when watching, past TNA X Division matches, you had a great X Division feel and great high-flying feel. With Abyss in there, it kind of ruined the feel a little bit. Now, I don't really know where they're going with this storyline, But Abyss in there is kind of ruining the whole X Division thing for me, which is a bad thing because I really like X Division action. We had Abyss, I think very predictably, Abyss win going into Destination X, which is going to be an all X Division pay-per-view. For me, I thought Kazarian was performing very well in this match. It was obviously he was really trying. Him and even Kendrick to a point were trying really hard to sort of work an X Division match. But with Abyss there, they were just never going to fulfill that. That was the problem.
No. So he was there like a brick wall blocking further.
Yeah. Anyway, what were your overall thoughts on this match, Andrew?
I had a feeling that they were going to make Abyss win just because obviously I think he's going to keep going till he finds the right challenger, and those two. One of them, like Brian Kendrick, weren't ever going to be the one to finish the match.
No.
I don't think Kazarian's there yet. I think he's proven himself as a good wrestler, but to beat him, I think they need to wait till a better pay-per-view for that to happen.
To be honest, I just thought if they were going to make Abyss win, why did they not make him win dominantly? They kind of made him win in a half-assed way, which kind of annoyed me a little bit. If you're going to make a big guy win against the X Division, just make him win. Just make him win with a power move or a dominant force. That was the only problem I had with that match. But overall, it just didn't have the feel. I don't really get into this match that much. It wasn't the best match, even though obviously Kazarian and Brian Kendrick tried. Just with Abyss in there, you're never going to be able to work a decent X Division match.
No.
Should we go on to the next match then, NJ?
Yeah, let's.
Next up, we had a match which I was very looking forward to between Samoa Joe, the guy who used to have a winning streak in TNA, against Crimson, who is now the guy who's got the current winning streak in TNA. And the reason I was really looking forward to this, just because I thought these two could put on a very good match together. But the match itself, it was initially quite good. I didn't think it got enough time, and I didn't think it just wasn't as good as I expected it to be. Maybe I had my expectations too high, but for me, it just wasn't as good as I expected, even though it was still a decent match.
Well, I looked at the match and just thought there was times when it was just a bit slow because I don't know, maybe it's just the fact Samoa's such a big guy.
And Crimson is very green in the ring as well.
Yeah, so that's the only problem I had with it, but I thought it was an okay match.
Yeah, it was an okay match. I still think Samoa Joe really did his best to try and make Crimson look good, but the match just didn't really ever seem to pick up. I was expecting a lot more from this just because I think this could be a possible feud going into Bound for Glory. And to me, was it me or did the match seem to end at the wrong time? Like Crimson seemed to win at a point where the crowd were kind of not into the match. They were really sort of trying to get in there. It seemed to end a bit too soon. The finish just didn't happen at the right time, in my opinion. No,
but I'm kind of the way the match was going, slow and all that. I'm kind of glad it finished when it did.
And to be honest, we kind of knew Crimson would get put over here. It kind of seemed obvious that they were going to continue this undefeated streak, try and make this undefeated guy, try and make him really big. So
talking about that, Samoa Joe did say, "I'll see you again." Yeah. So they're probably going to continue having a feud between each other.
That was their post-match little handshake.
Yeah.
Like we've just done there. Oh, I'll see you later, NJ. No, anyway, that's really what we're going to say about that match. Should we move on to the next one, NJ?
Yeah, let's.
The next match we had was for our TNA Knockouts Championship, and we've been very impressed with the Knockouts since we've started watching TNA, haven't we, NJ?
I enjoy seeing, because obviously I'm a fan of Mickie James, so to see her in the ring just doing what she does best, it was good to see. And then we have this zombie woman who, for some reason, didn't take a medication, but I think she was ready to do this on her own. And yeah, she basically went through the match and
lost. Yeah, the thing is, this match, it was a good match. But the problem is, the match ended in a huge botch, and when you end with a huge botch, it kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth when the match finishes. For me, Mickie James is the best in-ring worker, the best in-ring knockout. And she put on a good match with Angelina Love. I thought it was decent. It just the botch kind of ruined it for me at the end. At least the right person won in Mickie James.
And the way it was going kind of left the door open for them to face each other again, which I'm thinking they will, because I think there's unfinished business between them two. We
saw that after the match when Winter attacked Mickie James. But at least the right person won. Mickie James is obviously very over with the crowd. She's the best knockout they have. So at least they've still got her at the top of the knockouts division, which is good.
And I think she'll be there for a little while longer.
Yep. That's pretty much all we've got to say about that one, isn't it, MJ?
Yeah, let's.
The next match we got was between Mr. Bully Ray and AJ Styles, a guy who I love in TNA just from watching his past matches. This was a last man standing match, and it was a match which I was definitely looking forward to, mainly because of their build and Bully Ray's, ability to be a great heel, and AJ Styles' obvious in-ring ability. We all know he's going to put on a great match. NJ, your thoughts?
I thought it was awesome. Bully Ray is a great wrestler. He's very dominant.
Plays
You
to the
see
crowd
that,
as well.
and he's really serious about what he does. You can see it in the angle, the face expression, the hand movement, all the movements he does. You can actually see how much of a dominant, great wrestler he is.
Although at first it doesn't seem like these guys can put on a great match just because of their size difference and everything, they did actually put on a great match in my opinion. This was also a very brutal match. It had a lot of time to sort of build up to the finish, which was very good. We also saw some fucking great spots. Do you remember AJ Styles' 540 springboard splash? That was really good. He had his flying leap off the stage, and then we had the last spot where he went off the top of the stage, at the top of the, I don't know what you call it, the scaffolding, about 30 feet in the air, and landed on Bully Ray on the table. That was just an immense way to end the match. Oh, but it didn't end that way, did it?
Greatly. I'm kind of impressed by this. The way that Bully Ray got up, it made it look like that he might not have made it. And when he did get up, he clapped straight after the 10 count, so it kind of made him look like he had been beaten during that match.
It was kind of like a just finish, but it was just the way, he kicked AJ Styles through the stage. It ended that way. I thought it was going to end after that splash off the scaffolding, to be honest. But overall, it was a great match. It had a pretty good finish. These two put on a good match. It went for a lot of time. For me, this is one of the better. This was probably one of the best matches of the night. It was a great match. Then Bully Ray wins, so obviously the feud is probably going to continue. I'd like to have seen AJ Styles move on to like the world title or something, but I guess with the match we've seen tonight, these two can work a good sort of feud together, which is good to see.
I think it'll be good because the way Bully Ray's so serious, and you have AJ who's wanting to still look like the best. He still wants to look like the man he is.
Yeah.
So I think with someone trying to prove him wrong by saying that he's better, I think it should make a good rivalry.
Yep, it's a great match. I get the full thumbs up on that for that match. It was a great match to watch. Anyway, let's go on to the next match.
Yeah, let's. And now we have the TNA World Heavyweight Championship between Mr. Anderson and Sting.
Now, first thing we want to talk about here is we were expecting this to be the main event, weren't we?
We were.
We were really expecting the way it was built. We thought this was going to be the main event, but to be honest, I think the Kurt Angle Jeff Jarrett match may have been the better choice just because of the way the match went itself. Sting interrupted Anderson's entrance, as we saw, and we saw Sting's face paint was like a clown, almost like someone had fucked about with his face paint before the match.
I really think Sting should just go with just a white face or just no makeup.
Yeah. Anyway, let's focus on the match here. They began by going into the crowd. Now, I'll say one thing here. We saw this same thing at Sacrifice, which was their last pay-per-view with RVD and Sting going into the crowd. They did pretty much the same sort of spots and stuff, so it's kind of repeated a little bit. But I did like the whole going into the crowd. It kind of slowed the match down a little bit, so Sting could put on a little bit of a longer match at his old age.
It did, and when we were in the crowd, I just was expecting like a big move to happen in the crowd, just to make a certain spot or certain camera shot there. But no, they just kept fighting all the way around.
Yeah,
and got their way back to the ring.
Yep, and when they got back to the ring, the match continued. It was going at a decent pace, but it kind of was it me, or did it seem like Sting couldn't really keep up with Anderson? Just because he was very slow. I don't know if he was playing like the comeback injured face, but it seemed like he really couldn't keep up with Anderson that much.
There was times when I was just thinking, yes, come on, Sting. Like, there's times when Anderson was attacking, and I was just hoping for more of a reflex fight back, but Sting weren't showing that. Yes,
and then we have Eric Bischoff come out right after Sting hits the death drop. And then he forms some sort of distraction, which, distracts the ref somehow.
It made Sting think he got the 3 count.
Yeah, and that was a bit ridiculous. But the main thing is we had Mr. Anderson win. Now, I'm just glad about it, because I think Mr. Anderson is a good guy you can have at the top. He's a guy that can work long, decent length matches. And I think Sting now will just go off and feud with Hulk Hogan. That'll be that, in my opinion.
Yes, and we'll find out who Mr. Anderson's opponent is next.
Yes, let's. NJ, before we move on to the main event, one thing I will say is if Anderson was going to win this championship, if there was going to be a change in hands of the championship, why didn't they make it the main event? Surely they would have more meaning to it if Mr. Anderson, if they had a title change with Mr. Anderson, and it would mean so much more to Mr. Anderson and to TNA if they had that as the main event rather than the second match. If they were going to keep the championship on Sting, I could understand, but the title change kind of meant that it probably should have been the main event.
The way I see it, you have like the World Heavyweight Championship, which is a great, big, important match. that should at the end.
Yep.
No matter who wins the number one contender, the title match should be the last match showing.
Definitely, in my opinion. And in this match, yes, Mr. Jeff fucking Jarrett gets the main event because he's the founder of TNA, of course. This match was the Kurt Angle versus Jeff Jarrett number one contenders match, also for Angle's gold medals.
The thing I found quite good, you saw Jeff Jarrett trying to do the Olympic slam. He did the ankle lock a few times, but he still couldn't get the job done. Yeah,
and even though Karen Jarrett is down at home in Tennessee, Nashville, wherever she lives, she still had to get involved in the show somehow and have a two-minute promo with Mike Tenay, saying how Mike Tenay doesn't really care about her and she has back problems or something.
But going back to the match,
yeah, sorry, I wanted to divert the attention there.
It's just, even though Jeff Jarrett could not get the job done, he put on some kind of fight, and then Angle managed to win.
Yeah, it was a really good match. It got the time it deserved. It told a good story. It was their one-on-one match, but you knew Angle was going to win, despite the fact that there were signs Jeff Jarrett may win. There was some really good spots in this match. I think they built up to the finish quite well. I was very impressed with this main event, and I was more impressed with the fact they actually made Angle win and not Jeff Jarrett.
That was a good thing.
Yes. So overall, I think this main event, although I had a bit of a problem with it actually being the main event, I thought overall it was a good main event, and it really, sent us home from Slammiversary in quite a good mood, especially with Angle winning. He should be the top. He should really be the top guy in that company. He's the best worker alongside AJ Styles. So why not finish Slammiversary on a high with Angle being the number one contender?
That's true. Yeah.
Yep. Do you have any other things you want to say about that main event before we move on to our overall thoughts?
Not really. I think that's about it.
Okay then. Should we move on then?
Yeah. Let's.
So NJ, after watching TNA Slammiversary 2011, your first proper pay-per-view, what were your overall thoughts on the pay-per-view itself and the matches we got and the stories they told?
Okay, we have the first match, which was
the Beer Guns versus British Invasion.
That match I was really interested in. Mm-hmm. It had a great tag team matches. Yep. I just thought this was a great start and a great opener for the match.
What about the show overall then?
Overall, I would say my favourite match was the Bully Ray versus AJ Styles.
Last man standing match. Last boy standing, by the way, Bully Ray was talking about it.
And he did put the boy down. I thought that was a great match.
Yeah, same.
The Divas, the Knockouts, they still put on a good fight.
They could knock us out with their fantastic looks, just put it that way.
That's true. But I would not say it was my favourite match. It was entertaining, but not my favourite match.
Yeah.
The main event, I guess it was in the wrong place. I'm still believing that.
Yeah. So overall, what would you grade it? Just give your overall thoughts before I go on to mine.
I would probably grade it a B+.
B+?
Yeah.
I think it was. Oh, so you thought it was pretty good then.
I thought it was pretty alright. Yeah.
Okay. I'll just give you my 2 cents now, or 2 pence in Britain where we are. I honestly thought this pay-per-view, I had high expectations going into this pay-per-view. I thought it started off very well. It went a little bit slow in the middle, but my 2 favourite matches were Bully Ray versus AJ Styles and the Kurt Angle versus Jeff Jarrett match. I think them 2 matches were very good pay-per-view matches. I mean, overall, this card looked very good. Sometimes, in some places, it didn't deliver, but in a lot of places it did, which means I'm definitely giving this a good solid B as a pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep. So pretty much that has really been it from the British Fist. NJ, I'm glad you were impressed by the pay-per-view. To give it such a good pay-per-view grade. I was entertained by it, even though places it did feel a bit slack, but that's just opinion. There we go. Make sure you guys put your comments on the show down below. We want to hear your comments, of course, what you thought of TNA Slammiversary 2011. That has been it from me, Daniel Parkin, and this guy sitting next to me, NJ.
What's up?
We are the British Fist.
Ka-ching.
And we will see you next time for our Raw review. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.